Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another match of the Sevens. This one that has taken place between Kenya versus Belgium. Now, the first contest for Kenya went a lot better than it did for the Belgian side, as Belgium lost 40-0 up against the USA, whereas in the case of Kenya, they were able to beat Canada in a bit of a thrilling contest in front of the Nairobi crowd. Now these two sides will be going face-to-face for their next contest. Looking through at the starting lineups for the Kenyans, it is Kevin Waikesa, George Oro, Vincent Onyala, also Azati Amaitsa, Patrick Odonga Okongo, who managed to score himself 2 tries in his last match of the 7, and Ojwang also getting himself 1 from that last Canadian match. Through the Belgium lineup, it is going to be Duplessis, they've got Copeland, also Marine, Godsmark, Benjamin Ruddock, the captain Gaspard Lally, and then also Migrelidze, the last man in that Belgian side. And as I said, they didn't have their best run in the last contest in that matchup against the USA. But, you know, if there was ever a time to bounce back, it pretty much has to be now. If you're Belgium, either you go out there firing up against a side like Kenya, or you do find yourself forever just dropping that little bit further down the standings. Now, currently, Canada are playing up against Germany in this game. Is extremely close with 90 seconds remaining, 19 points to 17 in favour of the Germans. So that game, there's potential a golden point depending on what happens there if we do see the 2 quick-fire tries, but more than likely one of the two sides about to get that last big moment. We have got Kenya in there from, it was Loyo, and also we have got guy Hamish says, Daryl, welcome in, hope you are doing extremely well. We have still got another match of the Sevens just around the corner that has taken place between South Africa and Kenya. It's getting a little bit more interesting. We did see Brazil get themselves the big win over the Box, 12 points to 0. So a must-win game now for those two sides as they move forward in the competition. It is all a part of Sevens 2. Anyone wondering what that is in comparison to the HSBC regular Sevens circuit, it is the next division down. The winner of this competition, I believe, does qualify. Or at least it's a very good opportunity to be able to qualify for the next stage of the competition, which is the championship. That is when the Division 1 sides go head-to-head, Division 2, and the opportunity for promotion is there for these lower-ranked sides. A big chance to be able to get that massive boost up, find themselves on the circuit in the near future. But there are 3 legs. There's Nairobi, and then I believe we've got about a month or so before the next one, about mid-March, that we see it take place. And then I believe it's actually back-to-back legs in March to find out who will be making their way through to the next stage. But looking through at the benches, there was quite a bit of impact for Kenya in the later stages of the match, including a Safari, who was able to score himself a try right at the end of the last game. Belgium still yet to get themselves any points in this competition. So, of course, a big moment here if someone can cross the try line. And they have to do it multiple times to be able to beat Kenya in this case. But do let me know your score predictions for this contest. If it is anything like the last match, I would say, well, that's a good kick into touch there from Germany. It probably makes the score, I think that is full time. 26 points to 17, the win for Germany over the Canadians. But for me, it's got to be a big win for Kenya here. Maybe not as big as the USA, though. I do think that Kenya might just gradually grind them down, maybe about a 33-12, somewhere around there. Could be the option. Shujagogo says Duke in there. I will mention these games are all being shown on Rugby Pass TV as well for anyone who is hoping to catch the action live. There are plenty more games for the Kenyans and Belgium today. So later on we see Kenya versus Germany. That is at 2:54 a.m. New Zealand time. Belgium are playing Uruguay at 2:32. And then they have got, I believe, 2 games tomorrow. But that last one, Kenya versus USA, that is going to be a very good game to watch. As that for me is the top two sides on the men's side of things going head-to-head. Although Kenya versus Germany could also prove to be quite the entertaining fixtures. They are sitting with 2 wins from 2, with wins over Uruguay as well as now the Canadians. Both teams making their way out onto the field, ready to go for the match, just waiting to go in front of that home crowd for Kenya and Nairobi. There was a huge amount of support for this Kenyan side in the first match of their new Sevens journey, I guess you could call it. Just charging out onto the field, Kevin Waikese. And we saw a couple of celebrations from Patrick Odongo-Okongo. Was doing some big jumping celebrations when he scored the tries. That is one thing that Kenya will bring to the Seven Circuit every single time, and that is celebration, that is passion, and that is entertainment. Hamish, who you got, or who you going to support? New Zealand versus South Africa on the tour later this year, says Martin. Well, I'm very curious to see what kind of coaching setup New Zealand are going to have heading into that tour. But as long as it's a good tour, that's the main thing that I'm after. Because, you know, it's been so long since we've seen a tour of this fashion taking place in July. So, like, if it's terrible and everyone hates it, then, you know, we could have had the Rugby Championship, a competition that was picking up steam last year. So, yeah, as long as it's a good tour, that's the main thing. If it's a poor one, then I feel like the only people who really miss out are the rugby fans. Are you going to see the game live here? Sadly, it is just the commentary, and it is kicked off by Kenya, but it is available on Rugby Pass TV, which might have a free option for yourself. A easy win for Kenya, says Martin. Yeah, Belgium did not fire at all in their first game. Godsmark wrestled down 10 metres out from his own try line. Now moving away to the right-hand side. Chance for Belgium to get an attack going and an early knock-on from this Belgian team. Ball picked up nicely by Kenya. And it's in the hands of Ojwang. Nice steal on the breakdown from Belgium. So they will have to go back for that initial knock-on. Easy win for the Kenyans as well for Martin. Yeah, USA were able to beat this Belgian side 40-0 in their opening contest of the Sevens competition. We have there, Miss Kiwi Sir. I met a radio presenter. Can you send you a pic on Discord? Says Taiwan. Who's the radio presenter you met, Ty? And good for South Africa. Springboks going to break New Zealand hearts, says Martin. I'm not sure if they can break the hearts more than some Kiwis have already had them broken throughout the last 12 months or so. But they can have a crack. Nice, beautiful sniping run round the side of the scrum. And that is Azati who does score the first try of the contest. And just like that, going to add the one try onto the board for Kenya. Looks like the first of many if they keep on scoring like that. Just a piercing run round the side. You won't know him. He's from Cape Town. It's Carl Wasty. Yeah, I have no idea who that is. Unfortunately, are they sports radio or are they just like radio in general? And who else says Duke? That's a nice run from Azati. Just saw the opportunity to go for it. Showed off the pace too. And manages to finish it off. 5.5 minutes now remaining in this contest. Kenya have added the additional 2 as well. Making the score 7-0 for the side. Radio in general. I can send you a pic on Discord, please. Says Taiwan. I mean, you can go for it if you like. I haven't been on Discord a lot outside of sending that link though, so I will mention it might take me a little while to see it. Now going across here, Belgium currently 10 metres out from their own line. Oh, big sell of the dummy from Godsmark. Tries to sneak his way through. It's a nice off-foot, and this is going to be a big opportunity here for Belgium as they run down towards the halfway line. It is their man in the number 8 jersey, Marin. Now dragged down 40 metres out. Needs a haircut, says Martin. Now going back to the right. Beautiful passing here from Belgium. Oh, that's a hurting one. That looks like a serious injury here for one of the Belgian players, and they are going to probably bring out a stretcher to help him out. He was dragged down by the Kenyan defence. Ended up kind of taking a sideways twist. And, yeah, this is going to be a stoppage for a little while here by the looks of it. They've called it as a serious injury. He's just running his way through. And then just the way that the tackles happen, because of the dryness of the turf, sometimes your boot can get stuck in there, and he's just kind of bundled over in an awkward angle. And it did not look like it went too well at all for Marta Marin. The Boxing All Blacks saying 4 tests this year, Hamish. They certainly are, yes, as well as a few games midweek for the All Blacks up against the URC sides. I'm not that tall, I'm 6'2", but he looked tiny next to me, says Taiwan. And Kenya is too good for Belgium, says Martin. You know, it was a nice breaking run. I don't think Belgium looked that likely to score in their game up against the USA, but a couple of nice passes from the Belgian side just opened up the chance. Kenya, they did concede a couple tries up against the Canadians, but not enough to be too concerning, I would say. At the moment, we have just got that stoppage due to the injury of the Belgian player. Currently, 3 minutes have passed in this first half period. Still plenty of time remaining. What do you think of the Brumbies win? I didn't actually watch that game. In the end, I was trying to sneak some sleep in before these matches. Looks one-sided. Like the time that I saw it, it was 7-0 to the Western Force. And then after that, it must have just kept on going downhill for the Western Force side. But I'll be honest, a game that when you look at the scoreline, what a run that is. Straight through the middle, Ojwang just cuts through absolutely everyone. And Kenya almost go on the full length of the field to be able to get themselves another try there. It's nicely done though, and the crowd absolutely loving it for Kenya as they run in another one. Hang on, we've butchered the scoreboard a little bit there. Go like that and like that. There we go. And 3-1 in USA, says Martin. And we have got there Mr. Kiwi Sir. This is the first game you are doing for the afternoon, right? That is correct, yes. So the next game that we have got is South Africa taking on, they are up against Kenya for the women's. And the last game was Kenya versus Canada, I think, right? So last game will be the Six Nations match between England and Scotland. So Kenya versus Canada was the earlier game. Although the last game of the whole Sevens will be Kenya versus USA. That is tomorrow for us here in New Zealand. And I think it might be tomorrow early morning. Or sorry, afternoon. In fact, it would be for you guys in South Africa. A nice fend coming in again from Ryan Godsmark. Tries to pass on the outside. It's put down by the captain, Lally. No, I meant like the last game before this one. Yep, so last game before that was Kenya-Canada. And Western Force were leading 10-0. Then it collapsed when it was 14-10 at halftime. It finished 56-24. So yeah, just not coming out in the second half with any sort of oomph in that regard. Just going to have a quick look while we are at it, while we got the stoppage here. Who scored all the tries in that one for the Brumbies? You'd assume there's a fair few list. They got Satsford, Kale, Toole, Meredith, Lonergan, Funneck, Meredith, and Kale. Okay, so they had about 6 different try scorers in there. See, Carlo Tazano, scored his regular try for the Force. Nice one-on-one tackle made by Marin. Had to be made too, or else Kenya would have been able to sneak through for another one. That is a knock-on from the Kenyans. In fact, they're going to call that as backwards. Offside number 3, White. So that is against Megre Lidse. Did you give the Brumbies a chance in Christchurch last week? Did you give the Brumbies a chance? Were they playing in Christchurch? Oh, sorry, next week. It'll be tricky. I feel like the Crusaders won't be too happy. But at the same time, Sunday afternoon game, stranger things have happened than in a away side getting the victory. Sport Scotland and England must lose, says Martin. So you're going for a French Six Nations in that case, Martin. I went to a uni for an open day and was entered into a speed dating show until I said I was 17. The guy thought I was 22. Now 1 minute left in this first half. Kenya still leading 14-0. Similar to how they did start in their last contest, they could actually add another 7 in their favour too here. Good drag down from Ryan Godsmark, but did connect with him a little bit too high. Going for the quick down, moving away to the right-hand side, carving through and scoring another try. This time it is Vincent Onyala and scores just before the halftime break. Kenya are finding their rhythm at the moment in this competition. Kenya, easy, says Duke, watching on TV, then listen to your commentary. I'm assuming Kenya have been dominating with possession here, says Taiwan. Relatively, I think it's probably about 60-40, I would say, the moment in the possession stats. Belgium have had a couple decent runs throughout this game, but nowhere near as many opportunities as we've seen from Kenya, who have been clinical when they've had the ball in hand, been able to finish it time and time again. Another chance to line up the additional 2 for Kenya, but I believe that one is missed away. We Kenyans are always on top in there from Rostam in there too. And hopefully Australia get their lower order, or their rugby in order, sorry. They like Wales. So here's Martin. That one's going to be slapped back. Ball back in the hands of the Kenyans once more. Azati offloads to Patrick Odongo. Congo straight through once more. And he scores between the posts. The no-look finish and the big dive. I said it in the first match. I'll say it again. He's got to be very careful not to injure himself with those dives, because he is pretty much just slamming himself down on the turf with no give whatsoever on the surface. The last thing that they want is for him to end up injuring himself doing the big finish. But now 26 points to 0 now. The score at half time. It's a dominant half from the Kenyans. They are looking to up the score that we saw between Belgium and the USA earlier on. We'll go like that. And I like that as well. But 26-0 from Kenya. The crowd are absolutely loving what they're seeing. Try after try. 4 throughout that first half, and 4 different try scorers for Kenya in this game too. Kevin Waikesa, one of them. Samuel Azati, Patrick Odongo Okongo, and also Ojwang getting a try in both of the games so far that Kenya have played in. Morning, mates. There's Flesh and welcome in. Hope you're excited for the Six Nations, not a mile away from starting up. Before then, we've got South Africa versus Kenya in the Women's Sevens, but from there, straight into the action of Ireland versus Italy, followed by Scotland and England. If I was playing for Belgium, I would go for of energy. Go as in like go off for energy. You saying, Martin? The crowd are absolutely bringing the energy for these two sides. See, there a man supporting a Hollywood Bet Sharks shirt in the stand. Just checking Rugby Pass, no coverage, says Daryl. I think it depends on where you are in the world. If you're in South Africa, I think it's on DSTV about 2:07, someone was saying earlier on. But if you got a VPN, you can set yourself to, let's say, New Zealand, and then you would be able to watch it on Rugby Pass TV. Second half just about to get underway. No, I'm not looking forward to the Six Nations. Yeah, that's probably a terrible question, wasn't it? Maybe at least the game's today, Fleshin, rather than tomorrow. Because that's going to be, that could be a brutal one. About DSTV, I know that it is available on DSTV. I just saw now two, says Daryl. Not a massive amount of time remaining here. It's going to be kicked off. And nicely taken by Kenya to claim that ball just outside of their 22. Kevin Waikesa going to wait to the right-hand side. Does decide to sell the dummy. Takes contact with Sam Copeland, who wrestles him into touch. Nice physicality being shown by that Belgian defence. To be fair to them, they haven't been awful in this game. There's been some good breakaway runs from Kenya, but at the same time, Belgium still seem to have a couple key players. And I believe, if I am correct, it was this Belgian side that ended up knocking Samoa out of that division, or stopped them from getting a chance at promotion. From what I remember, they were able to dominate Samoa in that last competition that took place. We see the knock on there, though, from Belgium. Second, we'll go like that. And we'll go like that. There we go. Oh no, in fact, it's trying to have it only as a timer for 10 seconds. We'll turn that off. We'll disable that. There we go. And Wales only got the management in reserve for support. Yeah, although to be fair to them, the thing is, there's been a lot of talk about the fact that the stadium isn't sold out as of yet this week. But no other side that I've seen has struggled the way that Welsh Rugby have and still managed to get together such decent numbers of attendance. They were on a massive on a home losing streak. People still were showing up each and every week. So, you can kind of understand why people don't want to watch France go out there and probably put on 50 at least on them. But, outside of that, they've been very well supported. But now, ball's there for Kenya. Kenya, we always mean business. And they've certainly shown it throughout this tournament. I mentioned about it on that last game up against the Canadians. This Kenyan side, they did so well to get into a position where promotion was on the cards onto that main seven circuit once more. And then World Rugby changed the rules. They said, no longer will it be 12 teams. We're going down to 8. And I meant that Kenya were one of the sides that did really suffer. Their fans, they have shown up in numbers for this competition, as they always do. There's such a huge support for Kenya, and the atmosphere that they bring to Sevens is absolutely unmatched. Australia is just as bad as Wales, says Martin. How we have got there, yeah, today is okay. Italy is the only team I am supporting, says Fleshen. And how Uncle Hamish says, Mahadine, I'm doing all right overall. Looking forward to the games just around the corner that are taking place. 1 second, we go like that. There we go. Now scrum feed here. And it is going to be Kenya who do get to feed this ball. And this game seems done and dusted. It's just more so the question of how much are Kenya going to be able to win by. I would have thought France would field a second string like they do when they come down south, says Daryl. Yeah, they're a pretty handy-looking squad at the moment for the French. And even when they make little changes in their lineup, they can still have a real impact. That's a big driving tackle. We've also got to remember they've got the week off next week. So they have a nice bit of time to be able to recover. And hope England wins, says Mohadin. Yeah, it would be their first win, their second win out of the last 5 up against the Scottish. So it is about to be a line out here for Belgium. This game has reached a bit of a snail's pace. That wasn't a straight line out from the Belgian side. They almost ended up losing that ball, but it's available now. Although Kevin White gets a smart play, jumps in there, manages to take that ball back. So a rest before, says Daryl. Although before that, before that next big game for the French, they do get that extra week off. Nobody sells out a stadium up here on a Sunday afternoon, especially as a lot of supporters that expats living in England. Cardiff is about the after party as much as the game, regardless of the result. Massive fan from Waikisa. But I feel like they've really tried to push the fact that, it's not sold out this week. And it's you got to look at the circumstance and go, well, it's not really, Sunday afternoon game, like you said, it's not really the best time. If it was on Saturday, they probably would have had a bit more of a chance of selling it out. But that is going to be now another quick tap taken by Belgium after winning the penalty for not releasing from the Kenyan big forward. Another penalty awarded to Belgium here. Starting to build a little bit of momentum. Work on Monday, says Daryl. Yeah, so no one's going to go to the rugby to get absolutely battered, I guess. And then know that they have to go to work the next day. 2.5 minutes now on the clock. Can Belgium break their drought? They are currently sitting 2 matches so far in this competition without a single try being scored. They've got 2.5 minutes to try and change that momentum now, though Kenya still more than enough capability of scoring at least 1 more try throughout this contest, if not 2. Drown their sorrows, says Daryl. Kenya still very heavily supported. And have the South African men played yet? They are not playing in this competition. The women have. They lost their last game up against the Brazilians. That was 12-0 in favour of Brazil, but they did win their first game up against Spain 14-12 for the Blitzbox ladies. Now on the halfway line here, Belgium once again shifted away to the left. It is one of their more dangerous players, Martin Marin. He's hit that ball up. Another nice shuffle here from Belgium, trying to bust through. But Kenya's physicality, always one to keep an eye out for. Now on the short side, Migred Lidze. Across Belgium. Good phase play at the moment, just putting it together. Why are the men not playing? Because they are in Sevens 1 rather than Sevens 2, and it's split into the different divisions. Nice step there from Belgium. Looking for the offload. This could be the try. No, great defence once again from the Kenyans. Ball's loose. It's a really ugly one. And the penalty is awarded to Belgium for playing the man on the ground. Quick tap taken from the Belgian side yet again. Going for a grubber. Was he taken out? Ref says no. And it's back in the hands of Kenya. 80 seconds remaining, and this is a chance to go the full length of the field and score the try, and that seems like exactly what they are going to do. I believe it is Okio. And he just has enough pace to punish the mistake. In fact, no, my apologies. It is actually Wabwire who does manage to score it as Kenyan Sevens 2. They are, yes. So pretty much they got into a position where they would have been promoted, and then from there World Rugby changed the rules and decided it would only be an 8-team format, which then left Kenya in the dark a little bit, and they then got put into Division 2. But they have the opportunity to work their way back to the top of the bunch if they do win this tournament, as well as a couple of the other ones coming up, and then get a chance in the championship playoff matches later on in the season. And I see there's Taiwan there. But 33-0 at the moment for Kenya. They've got 16 seconds remaining. Now, if it's anything like the last game, Kenya decided, even after having a secure victory over Canada, to try and score that last try. And assume that they'd do the same here. Belgium, though, they are the team with the possession, as we just hear their full-time siren passed on the outside. Not a lot of space to work with here for Belgium down the wing. Marin, but almost into touch. Back across to the left-hand side here for this Belgium outfit. Go on left. Thought about one more pass. In fact, they do decide to make it. They're going backwards at the moment. Ryan Godsmark has been impressive in this game for the Belgian side. Even though they haven't been able to get a huge amount of momentum going throughout pretty much this whole fixture, he has been involved multiple times. Kenya playing golf. So here's Duke. They're up against Germany in their next contest. It is going to be called as a maul. This one's going nowhere. And that is going to be the unplayable, which I believe does mean that we are in a position now. They've just got in the bottom corner. They had a little pop-up just before with Cup quarterfinal. Now, I don't think this competition actually had quarterfinals, or at least we didn't see them, but maybe they are coming up tomorrow instead. I know that Kenya are going up against the USA in a bit of a mid-afternoon game. I love how people are dancing at our funeral. It is what it is. We have always punched above our weight. Luckily, I've seen some good times, says Fleshin. Yeah, it seems to be the new thing to just hate Welsh rugby, which I don't really understand because, like, at the end of the day, like you said, they've had some very good moments, this Welsh team. So I feel like it's because of the fact that they have been strong at times. It makes it a lot easier for people to not, or to enjoy the fact that they aren't doing as well because, of course, it makes them feel better about their current team. But full time in this contest, 33-0 for the Kenyans in this game. Currently, they are unbeaten throughout the early stages. They've got Germany around the corner. Now, that has taken place just before their Ireland versus Italy kickoff of the Six Nations. So I'm actually going to be doing the Six Nations game, but giving you updates on what is happening in the second half of Kenya versus Germany. So be sure to pop in for that. Also, next game is going to be between South Africa and Kenya. That one's going to be taking place in about an hour and a half's time, somewhere around there. So be sure to tune in for that as well. But thank you all very much for tuning in, and I will see you all for the next one.